making sure children are healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeeding in school and in life. This is Our Children, a program brought to you by the Children's Trust. It was a day of celebration, celebrating this community's unsung heroes and the families who have emigrated from all over the world and now call Miami-Dade their home.
The best America is an inclusive America. It is America that knows we are more than simply tolerant. We should be an America that is welcoming.
We will never lose sight of the fact that every child, regardless of race, creed, gender, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation, could be a future diplomat, or a new scientist, or someone who finds a solution for global warming, or maybe that next musical prodigy.
It was clear that the individuals and organizations being honored for excellence at the Champions for Children Awards ceremony clearly understand that by investing in our children, we are investing in a brighter future for them, their families, our community, and our country. The example they set is a beacon for all.
We give and they give, and it's the reciprocity is a fabulous way to live.
Good morning. I'm Charles Auslander, President and CEO of the Children's Trust.
And I'm Ileana Borrella with the Herbert Wertheim College of Medicine at FIU. And together we welcome you to Our Children.
Every year, the Children's Trust publicly recognizes individuals and programs doing exceptional work on behalf of children and families in our community. You just got a sneak peek, but now you're really going to get to know the award recipients.
The David Lawrence Jr. Champion for Children Award was presented this year to immigration rights lawyer Cheryl Little. To quote Mr. Lawrence, "We can do much more than simply love the greatest American ideals by being a community that actually lives those ideals." Well, there is no better example of a fighter for our highest ideals than Cheryl Little. This is the story of a trailblazing woman with a solid reputation of making things happen.
I went to law school to do public interest law, and in my third year of law school, I took a course where you could write a paper about anything you wanted, and that was your grade, and I thought, sign me up. And I ended up writing a paper, and the title of my paper was The Haitian Refugees, a People in Search of Hope. I was hooked.
Cheryl Little has been a tireless immigration rights advocate for more than 3 decades. As a co-founder and executive director of Americans for Immigrant Justice, formerly known as Florida Immigrant Advocacy Center, Cheryl is intensely passionate about her work, and her contributions are significant.
She's been a real leader in this community. God bless her for what she's done, and her impact is just not about Miami. I mean, her impact has been a national impact.
She has such integrity throughout the United States. Many people know her, that when she tells them something, they listen.
Haiti, 1994.
I learned that there were a number of Haitian children who were virtually trapped in Haiti, waiting for their visa interviews. A number of these children had been attending school for years here in the United States and had to go to Haiti for the interviews. And the consulate shut down at one point, and these children were virtually in legal limbo. I mean, it was a nightmare.
Virgiline Oplan was one of those children. She was 17 at the time and missed her high school graduation.
I felt broken. I felt like I didn't know if I was going to be returning back. It was like almost hopeless.
But after spearheading a bold media and advocacy campaign, Cheryl successfully reunited Virgiline and some 200 other children with their U.S. citizen or legal resident parents in the U.S.
I'm forever in debt for everything. I'm sorry.
I would cry all the time at night, not knowing what's going to happen the next day or what's going to happen to me in the situation that I'm in.
Also in 1994, Cheryl traveled to Guantanamo, where she met then 12-year-old Ronald Aristide.
Well, I know you can't really get me in because everything got to do with money and all the stuff.
One of more than 300 unaccompanied children detained there following his flight from Haiti during the 1991 coup d'etat. Ronald's mom was a legal resident of the United States and had reached out to Cheryl for help.
Ronald was repatriated to Haiti, and he had no family in Haiti. We tracked him down, and again, the Attorney General granted him humanitarian parole, and we reunited him with his mother.
She's like my guardian angel. She really, came down, from the heavens and saved my life.
26-year-old Shamir Ali has carved out a life for himself in South Florida. When Shamir was 7, he and his mom entered the U.S. undocumented from Bangladesh. She was deported back there in 2009, and 2 years later, Shamir faced the same fate.
Cheryl in Americans for Immigrant Justice heard about my case, and literally within 24 hours, I was released.
Shamir, along with tens of thousands of other immigrant youth, was granted a temporary reprieve through a federal program implemented in 2012 called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. It's no surprise it was Cheryl who took the cause to the media and drafted a memo, which made it to the White House, to make DACA possible.
That was one of the happiest days in my legal career, without a doubt, because I knew what that meant for countless kids in this country who've dreamed of, having something like this. And my hope, however, is that they get permanent relief.
Until then, Cheryl and Americans for Immigrant Justice are hard at work. Funded by the Children's Trust, the agency's largest program is a children's legal project, which daily serves some 150 children who arrive in South Florida fleeing gang violence, poverty, and abuse in their countries.
If we don't take a child's case, then the bottom line is that child is going to be deported. We are their last best hope. There's no question about that.
And no matter on which side you stand on the immigration issue, you can expect to see Cheryl Little fighting the good fight, defending what she believes to be right, and fueling the dreams of immigrant youth. From the White House to the courthouse, this legal legend is in relentless pursuit of making things happen.
The next award was presented to State Representative Erik Fresen for excellence in public policy for championing early learning through dedicated public service. I'm not going to be a spoiler, but the representative has had some pretty good teachers.
State Representative Erik Fresen's interest in public service goes as far back as he can remember, even though no one in his family was overtly political. Some say his destiny was set in middle school, when fellow students voted him most likely to succeed. Upon graduating from Christopher Columbus High School, he made an important decision.
Having no idea how to get into politics, I figured, and to go to show you how kind of naive one is, right? I decided to go to Florida State for no other reason than it's close to the Capitol, and if I'm close enough, I might find a way in there.
He married his college sweetheart after undergraduate and graduate work at FSU, and together they are raising 3 children in the home where he was raised in the district he proudly represents. While those closest to him were not surprised that he was running for office at the time he did, there was one person from his past who was caught off guard when she found out.
My first thought when I saw that he was running for representative was, oh my goodness, how old is this child? Is he old enough to be in politics? It's been many years, and I've taught over 4,000 students. I'm very proud because I know that he's going to be bringing good things into politics.
Representative Fresen has been honored with numerous awards and recognitions for his leadership and public service since his election to the Florida House of Representatives in 2008 and re-election in 2010. Over the years, he realized that early childhood education was misunderstood, underfunded, and underappreciated, and that he was in a position to do something about it.
I realized that it was my responsibility to learn the most that I could about it and really just engage and become a champion for that forgotten spectrum within education.
As chairman of the House Education Appropriations Subcommittee in 2013, he worked tirelessly and was instrumental in the fight to add more than $5 million to the state's school readiness budget to restore funding to counties that had received cuts during the previous year. This included more than $2 million for Miami-Dade County, which was already suffering from a disproportionately long waiting list for affordable child care.
I'm hoping that that woke up people and that it made them realize that we had abandoned this for a decade.
Representative Fresen firmly believes that every working parent should have the comfort of knowing that their child has access to a quality, nurturing, early learning environment.
I think that Representative Fresen has done what all of our members should do, and that is work really, really hard to make sure the children have the right foundation.
I am really happy that the Children's Trust is recognizing someone who has made a difference and has been able to understand how important education is in the early stages of life.
Born and raised in Miami to a loving, close-knit family, education and serving others were instilled upon him and his 3 sisters.
I instilled in them, that they have to study, that is so important, and I believe that he knows that's what he should do for the world.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Bobby, for being wonderful and for raising us right. And a special thanks to my good friend, a dear mentor and a mentor to this entire community, Mr. David Lawrence. I love you, my friend, and thank you so much for opening my eyes to this world.
For his distinguished service and constant drive to address children's issues, especially during these troubling economic times, Representative Erik Fresen is worthy of admiration. In As You Like It, William Shakespeare wrote, "All the world's a stage." Our next award recipient has certainly lived Shakespeare's sentiments by educating children through her artistry. Mimi Schultz was honored for excellence in direct service to children and families. This is a true story of a teacher turned theater titan. The lead character is Mimi Schultz, and scene 1 of her adventure-filled life takes you back to 1970s New York.
I became an elementary school teacher, got a master's in reading development, and taught in the New York State system for 6 years.
But the Big Apple wasn't quite big enough for Mimi and her dreams. Leaving behind the brick-and-mortar school, she vowed to make the world her classroom. That's when she met a fellow educator with the same penchant for performing.
I met this crazy guy named Ed Allen.
After traveling the country and crisscrossing continents, Mimi and Ed eventually settled down in South Florida. In 1982, they established Fantasy Theater Factory, a not-for-profit touring theater with a mission to make more quality theater programs available to more people. At the heart of Fantasy Theater Factory is education.
From there on, it just snowballed. Fantasy Theater Factory created more and more shows, always very much involved with reading and literature because I'm a reading specialist.
Fantasy Theater wants to thank you for having us here today at the Family Expo.
With Mimi at the helm as director, writer, producer, and performer, Fantasy Theater Factory incorporated arts and education programs directly in Florida's schools, parks, community organizations, fairs, and other venues. One of its signature shows for the past 22 years has been Bananas, Books, and Pancakes. The production intertwines a collection of children's books and poems with a central theme of helping youth deal with their emotions as well as develop an excitement for reading.
To the left, woof. To the right, woof.
Mimi also created a series of environmental shows to educate kids on water conservation, recycling, and pollution prevention.
Watch this!
She's willing to literally do just about anything, and yet there's the pragmatic side to her too that is why we say, when all else fails, ask Mimi.
The most
important characteristic in all of this was Mimi's drive. She understood the arts. She understood what it took to keep a company artistically viable. She did the grants. She did everything from cook and bottle washer to dishwasher.
Melt, 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 melt. And then, good, we like that.
And because of Mimi's relentless energy, Fantasy Theater Factory now has 13 touring shows, performs more than 400 programs in Florida schools, and reaches more than 150,000 people each year. The thank you letters alone from schools across South Florida are countless.
She wore many, many hats. So I see and I have a great and newfound appreciation for what she's done.
After more than 30 years of fun and faithful leadership, this is Mimi's curtain call. She is passing on the artistic director's hat to fellow company actor Larry Fields. As Mimi looks back at all the different scenes that complete her story, this master art educator is filled with gratitude and resounding contentment.
Wow, what a great way to live. Every day you go and you give to them and they give back to you. And it's a real wonderful feed that I can just say it changes your life.
The award for excellence in school readiness programming went to Family Central, and what this agency accomplishes with child care center staff and parents is vital to the field of early childhood education.
Educating a young mind is an important step in readying a child for future learning experiences. Research is clear. Children who are prepared academically, emotionally, and socially for the rigors of school are much more likely to succeed. For more than 40 years, Family Central has played a pivotal role in the lives of South Florida families by remaining committed to promoting high-quality early child care.
We've gone from the idea that we were doing nothing more than babysitting to the understanding that it's critical that we make sure that young children are ready for school, that they have the tools that they need to be successful, and the potential to reach their dreams.
It takes a lot of patience combined with good judgment and warmth to raise emotionally healthy, comfortable, and happy children who know how to express themselves in positive and appropriate ways. In 2007, Family Central developed the Positive Behavior Support Program, PBS. This program began in response to desperate phone calls from parents whose children as young as 2 were being kicked out of child care centers for behavioral issues.
It's a program that we love. It's based on a pyramid model. It's really about empowering the child to make decisions that are positive and giving parents tools to do them. And so it's important that all of the systems in the child's life are really attuned to this method.
The primary goal of this nationally recognized research-based model is to train and assist teachers, parents, and caregivers in facilitating early social, emotional, and cognitive development in infants, young children, and children with special needs.
At our center, we have seen quite a difference in many aspects. In the emotional aspect, I feel the kids are more in control. Because the teachers are in more control.
Adriana Toll is a lead teacher at Little Wonders Learning Academy, a 4-star rated Quality Counts early childhood program located in Palmetto Bay.
Social emotional is a big part of a child's development because it's not always about yelling and it's not always about the kicking and the throwing of the tantrums. It's talking them down and trying to just show them another positive technique.
In addition to providing several months of training and workshops for caregivers and teachers, families may receive one-on-one consultations where the behavioral specialist focuses on improving the child-family relationship. Parents who participate in the PBS program gain confidence and are less stressed about managing their parenting responsibilities.
It's given me power to be a better parent, to teach them the correct way.
While all this may look like fun and games, the reality is that investing in programs like these reap big dividends years later when the children they've served grow up to be confident, well-adjusted adults. The next award recipient has been in social services since 1920. 90 years later, Jewish Community Services of South Florida was honored for excellence in youth programming for school and life success for a peer-to-peer program. For more than 9 decades, Jewish Community Services of South Florida has made a difference in the lives of thousands of people. As Miami-Dade County's first Jewish social service agency, its vision is to provide innovative programs that address existing and emerging social needs in the Jewish and broader communities.
The mission is to improve self-sufficiency in the Jewish community and the community at large, and to help people get through the obstacles that they have in their lives.
As part of its multifaceted continuum of services, in 2003, JCS introduced the Youth Aid Mentoring Initiative, also known as YAMI.
It is comprised of 40 girls, 20 of whom are mentors. They're high school-aged girls from 15 to 18 years old. They are mentoring younger girls who are between the ages of 11 and 14 years old.
The focus of the program is on the younger mentees who've been identified by their schools as at risk. The trained mentors meet with their mentees several times a week for 1 year and follow an evidence-based curriculum aimed at fostering positive behavior and improved academics. Second-year mentor, 17-year-old Evelina Delgado, and her 12-year-old mentee, Liana Palmer, are a case in point. Liana moved to South Florida from Jamaica only 1 year ago.
Sometimes I don't know like how to pronounce the word properly, because sometimes we pronounce the word different in Jamaica and we spell it different. So like she showed me how they pronounce it here in America and showed me how to spell it.
I chose to do this again because I feel like it is effective. Like I see an outcome in the mentee that I'm with. Like I feel they become more confident.
And confidence defines the relationship between 14-year-old Belkis Mejia and her 17-year-old mentor, Yuridia Martinez.
I'm hearing impaired for 1 year, so it's really hard sometimes to be able to focus. She helps me a lot. She comes over when I need her to help me with work. We work roughly about 6 to 8 hours at home. And then she helps me with my confidence.
Talking to my mentee and being able to explain things in many different ways really gave me the confidence to be able to do projects and classes and be able to explain things.
Studies show mentored youth are more likely to have fewer absences from school, a better attitude towards school, fewer violent incidents, less drug and alcohol abuse, and improved relationships with their parents.
Thankfully, we've had at least an 85% improvement rate.
This is what you want?
Add to the list the solid bond that forms as a result of the mentors and mentees interacting socially, and YAMI truly spells out success.
The recipient of this next award for excellence in health, family, or community services was an agency that truly understands the meaning of collaboration in its quest to uplift the lives of families in one of our many challenged communities. This is the story of ConnectFamilias.
Right in the heart of Little Havana, the offices of ConnectFamilias are easily overshadowed by the vibrant surrounding neighborhood. Characterized by a robust street life, restaurants, cultural activities, mom-and-pop businesses, and colorful residents. But sadly, it's also one of the most impoverished areas in Miami, where the average annual income for a family of 3 is an alarming $11,500. Out of these extremes emerged a collective effort to help families overcome their social and economic challenges, and ConnectFamilias was born. For 7 years, Betty Alonzo, the president and CEO of ConnectFamilias, has witnessed how the power of partnership can empower families to fix their community.
It is one of the poorest neighborhoods. Many of the families are ineligible for traditional formal services, so it does take a lot of innovation
Today, ConnectFamilias is nationally recognized for its success in tapping into the power of partnership by engaging and leveraging the resources of more than 50 partners. Board member Ana Someyan knows exactly why this resource and referral program helps families overcome so many barriers.
The beauty of the partnership is you can connect to each other and try to solve not just one person's problem, but the family's problem.
Carlos Michel and his mother Carmeris Alvarez moved to Little Havana recently from Venezuela. Both were experiencing a difficult transition when they were introduced to ConnectFamilias. Today, Carmeris excels as she trains to be a community health worker. This past summer, Carlos completed an internship with the agency.
My life has changed a lot. It really helped me prepare for my last year in high school, and overall, my mom's just been a lot happier and just more relaxed.
Belgica Vega has worn many hats during her several years of employment at ConnectFamilias. Herself an immigrant, she relates well to the families they serve and finds her work extremely gratifying.
It is very gratifying to see these families go from receiving services to becoming leaders in their own community.
The families are so deserving. They have worked so hard. They are so invested in this community and their families and their children.
Dilcia Vaca emigrated from Honduras in hopes of providing her 8-year-old special needs daughter, Allison, with a better life. Allison was born with hydrocephalus spina bifida, a birth defect that affects spinal cord development and can lead to learning, mobility, and bladder problems. When Dilcia was introduced to ConnectFamilias, she was not able to work, nor did she have a proper wheelchair for Allison. Today, while there are still some barriers to overcome, both mother and daughter have found a family in ConnectFamilias.
It's a great blessing that God put in my path. This center, ConnectFamilias. I greatly appreciate them. It's because of them, their help, that my daughter obtained something very important.
And for the special work they do, their families are eternally grateful.
Gracias, ConnectFamilias.
Charles, we're almost out of time, but before we go, the holiday season is upon us, and I know that you have the perfect gift for all 3-year-olds in Miami-Dade County, so I want to tell folks about it. It's the Read to Learn Book Club, a book a month mailed to your child for 12 months, together with a reading tip sheet for mom and dad, and they're all free. So give your child, niece, nephew, or grandchild the greatest gift of all this holiday season. It's the love of reading. To register for the book club, just visit thechildrenstrust.org or call 211. And don't wait till that child turns 3. Register them now so they receive the full 12-month benefit.
On behalf of the Children's Trust and Ileana Varela, thanks for watching this edition of Our Children. I'm Charles Auslander. Please enjoy your family and friends this holiday season.
Our Children is brought to you by the Children's Trust. The Children's Trust invests in programs and services that help make children healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeed in school and in life. To access its funded programs and services in Miami-Dade County, visit thechildrenstrust.org or call the Children's Trust helpline at 211, because all children are our children.
It's not about the classroom or the computers or how much money you make. It's not where you live or where you come from. When it comes to kids succeeding in school, the #1 factor is
me.
Moi.
Yo. Parents like me and you.
If you want to make a difference in your children's lives, read to them, be selective about their care, encourage them to get good grades. You have to be active and involved. To find the support you need, log on to thechildrenstrust.org. The Children's Trust, because all children are our children.